Hello students, myself Prarthana JV, Assistant Professor in Department of ISC, SGBIT. In this particular video, let us understand about electrical tongue in food sciences. You all might be wondering why technology is being wasted in inventing something called as an electrical tongue. Is our tongue really a major organ in our body? Yes. The food we eat, the taste of the food is basically reciprocated, detected on our tongue. Are we ready to eat the food which is not tasty? Our body is not accepting it, right? So whatever we eat, our tongue basically glorifies the food, gives a signal to your brain. In turn, your stomach basically accepts it based on your brain's signals. Now the brain has to understand something sweet has been received, something really tasty food has been received. All this is just a reciprocation from the signals that are obtained from your tongue. So tongue, this is a major, the first level of analysis of the food we basically eat. That is the first level. So yes, it is a major organ. Now what are the different functions or different parts of your tongue which basically helps you to analyze the food, helps you to sense the food, perceive and distinguish the food that we basically eat. Once we take a bite of a food, there are different parts of the tongue, different functions on the tongue being performed. Let us understand it one by one. The first and very commonly known is taste buds. We all say if somebody doesn't like the taste, or we always keep teasing them, saying your taste buds are not working properly. Taste bud, you all know it is a small bud like structure, tiny buds present on the entire surface of the tongue. These are the specialized cell and they are also called as a taste receptor cell. These are responsible of detecting the different tastes. On our tongue, there are different regions that are basically made to taste different things. Salty, then sweet, sour, bitter. All these tastes are basically detected on these taste receptor cells or taste buds. So basically differentiates, right? Next, once your taste bud has detected a taste, the second function initiates, that is taste receptor cells will start its action. It is basically once the taste is obtained, it segregates the taste into sweet, salt, sour, bitter and savory. So each of these taste receptor cell specifies detects a particular compound associated with the taste. So there are different compounds which is going to give a particular taste to a food, and that compounds are detected and the differentiations are done. Third function initiates now, that is your taste pores. As the name itself is telling, the small opening near the buds, they basically come in contact with the oral cavity. These pores let the compounds dissolve in saliva once they are basically come in contact. So the taste is now broken. The compounds are now mixed with saliva. Fourth function now initiates is binding of the taste compounds. Now once these taste compounds enter the taste pores, they come in contact with the saliva, then each taste receptor cell is specialized to detect a particular quality of food that we basically eat, generating a neural signals. These are the signals that are triggered in the form of an electrical signal, which basically is passed to the brain. how is it passed? The communication path between the tongue receptor cells to the brain cells is through carnal nerve. These are a special facial nerve which is basically in charge of carrying the sensory organs from the facial receptors. Then your brain basically processes it. Okay, it basically tells you the food how beautifully or how deliciously the food is basically tasting. Then we perceive the taste. Okay, then we'll say ಇಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ food ಅಂತ. So that is perseverance. So this perseverance is a reflex action for the brain process output. Now, what is electrical tongue? We understood how does your tongue basically work. Now, what is electrical tongue? This is a replacement of human tongue in the food industry, food sciences, basically to analyze and taste the different flavors of food and beverages. So this is more efficient way of doing the tasting. So it basically how does it basically work? It works on the concepts of basic electrical signals like impedance, conductivity, resistivity, capacitance, and all these, where we try to correlate the food or beverage samples. Okay, so the ions whatever we have obtained from the sample are converted into these categories of electricity. This technology is very easy, very faster. Okay, and since we are not consuming it, earlier people used to do the tasting, and it might be harmful also to the human being. Now this is completely a safe way of tasting, and they do not require or do not involve any human taste testers. Okay, so there are many other replacements done on this particular electrical tongue used to do the analysis of the food and beverage products. Now, what's the technology? So it involves the measurement of the food ions into an electrical equivalent signal. So it has different attributes. First one is a potentiometric ion selective electrode. This sensor measure the concentration of specific ions associated with taste. Next is voltammetric sensors, is measurement of changes in electrical current and can be used to detect and quantify various taste components. Next is impedance sensors. It is basically resistance or Z impedance based measurements of electrical impedance caused due to different compounds and ions in the food. Then it is optical sensors. It can be used to measure the change in the light absorption or fluorescence caused by a specific taste compound. Conductometric is how the food is good in conducting different tastes. Different flavors have different level of conductivity. Based on that, we basically do a analysis of the food flavors. Next is mass sensitive sensors. Mass sensitive sensor measures changes in mass or resonance frequency caused by absorption of taste compounds. These can provide an informative presence of food and specific taste of the component. What are the things your electrical tongue is made up of? It composes of polymers, which basically gives the structuring. Metal oxides, because it is basically dealing with your electrical parameters. We have metals, semiconductors and stars. Carbon nanotubes, where the small tubes made up of carbon atoms, which are good in electrical conductivity and sensitivity. Dendrimers are synthetic branched nanostructures. These are functional and specific receptors and acts like an enzyme to a particular taste. And microfluidic devices. So these are devices that can be basically manipulating the size and volume of a food, something similar to our saliva, which makes the sensing of the food taste ions more appropriate. These devices can be made up of different materials, including silicon, glass, polymer, and different types of casings are possible. So as I told you, what is an advantage of using the electrical tongue is it is non-invasive, high throughput, good analysis is done, and it is cost effective. Of course, it has its own drawbacks. Problem is limited sensory. That means what we are able to develop technologically only till there. It's not like human tongue where we can taste infinite flavors. It is not the same in the case of an electrical tongue. It is an incomplete understanding, so more technical expertise needed. So there can be other factors, like the environmental factors like temperature, humidity and stuff, which can influence your reading. And since it is an electrical device, we need a frequent calibrations to be done. Hope you all have understood the concept. Thank you.